morning. I'm glad to be with those of you who are here and those of you who are in your seats and those of you who are on the screen. I'm glad to be with everyone today. I'm going to tell you a story today that I suspect you have heard before. I bet you have. Once there was a boy named David. Does that sound familiar? David had 7 older brothers. You think David might have been picked on a few times in his life. Got some experience being the little brother. But mostly, David spent his time out in the fields taking care of his family's sheep. He was really good at finding that good green grass that sheep need and that nice, quiet water. And he was really good at defending his sheep. When a wolf or a lion or something that wanted to eat the sheep came around, David knew how to take care of it. He wasn't a big, strong guy, but he was brave, and he knew what he needed to do to take care of his sheep. There was just this one strange thing that happened once when David was growing up. A prophet named Samuel showed up at his family's door, and he said that the next king of Israel, of the whole country they lived in that house. It was a little bit surprising to that family, I suspect. And so David's dad brought in all those older sons one by one. And each time the prophet Samuel said, "Nope, not this one." And David was out in the fields when this was going on, and Samuel said, "Do you have any more sons?" And David's dad said, "Well, I've got the one more, but he's the youngest. It's not him." And he said, "Well, bring him in." And David came in, and sure enough, Samuel poured oil on him, kind of gross, as a sign that he would be the king someday. He was the one. But then after that strange day, life kind of just went back to normal. David took care of the sheep. His brothers got older, and they went away to fight in King Saul's army. Now, one day, David's dad gave him a different chore. He said, "David, I want you to take some food to your brothers down at the battlefront." David did what his father asked, and when he arrived, he found that his brothers, along with the whole army, were scared. You see, there was a very tall man named Goliath, whose army was challenging Israel's. Goliath wanted one person to come out and fight him, and nobody wanted to do it, and I can't blame him. Can you? Would you want to go? Oh, you'd want to go? Okay, you're brave. Well, Goliath wanted someone, and everybody was scared. It had been 40 whole days since Goliath had said, "Somebody come out here and fight me," and nobody had been willing yet to go out and try it. So maybe David was thinking about his sheep and how he would do anything to keep them safe. Maybe he was thinking about the times his older brothers had picked on him, and he'd kind of gotten out of those scrapes. Maybe he was thinking about the prophet who said he'd be the king someday. In any case, David did a very surprising thing. Do you know what he did? He volunteered. Yeah, he used a slingshot. Everybody said, "This is a terrible idea, David. There's no way. You shouldn't do this." But he was determined to help his people. And so, like you said, with God's help, David used a slingshot and a few stones, and he killed Goliath. He stood up for God's people and helped them when no one else would. He used the skills he'd been working on as a shepherd to protect his people like a king. I wonder if you've ever stood up for someone who was hurting or afraid. I wonder how you use the gifts that God has given you to take good care of the people around you. Would you pray with me? God, thank you for all the ways that you help us to have opportunities to help others. Help us show your love wherever we go using the gifts you have given us. Amen.